with Caroline, and we're going to go from AWS SaaS boosting to what's it called, AI Companion, a digital assistant for every employee. Now, this I'm very curious also because I went from, and it's really simple, but I went from like everybody with the Alexas and the Google Homes and things like that, from oh look, you can talk to us, to really having conversations with your assistants at home and getting mad if they don't understand you, and you're like, okay, I'm actually talking to a robot and having a discussion. So that's how we evolved. And I always think to myself, Marnik, you're talking to a robot here, but that's where it's going. And we're now talking with Caroline Schmitt, and she's going to talk about that, the AI Companion, a digital assistant for every employee, because she says employees work better with AI Companion and gets things done, which we're very curious, how can we make ourselves more effective, not replace it, but more effective by using AI. And I'm looking at my backstage, and they're telling me, my backstage crew is telling me that Caroline is coming in. She's now dropping in from the airport, and she's now currently in her taxi, but the taxi will arrive in 2 minutes to join us on the OpenSlava stage. Meanwhile, let me check the chat what you're all up to. And also congratulations to the winner of the JetBrains license. Come code with me was indeed the right answer. So everybody that said that maybe wanted to code with me, but I think they wanted to win the licenses. So normally the backstage crew will contact you for those licenses. And for the people joining right now, coming from stream 2, and they're like, hey, I want to hear Caroline talk about AI, you are in the right stream. So welcome for that. If I'm looking downstairs, I'm looking to my backstage crew. I'm looking at the messages I'm getting in the chat. I see Caroline coming in my backstage. So she is almost ready to rock. I hope you are too. We're going, like I said, from the AWS SaaS Boost to AI. And then afterwards, we have one more keynote or presentation. So I'm really looking forward to that. Meanwhile, I'm looking at Caroline while she's installing herself. There's a lot of people walking around in the backstage. She is already smiling, so she made it here from the airport. She's waving at me like, yes, Marnik. No, everybody knows this is digital. Well, I don't know if you heard my introduction, but I was talking about my own Alexa, Google Homes, and how I'm having conversations with these robots these days. That's the new normal, and you're going to dive even more into it. So give me the thumbs up if you're ready to go. Yeah, you're all good. You're all set. Well, I'm going to give the stage to you. Give her a digital applause. Caroline Schmitt, Head of Enterprise Digital at Takeda, and she's going to tell you about AI Companion, a digital assistant for every employee. Have fun.
Right. So can you hear me all well? Yep. Okay.
Everything
so super. Thank you. So hello, everyone. My name is Caroline Schmitt. I'm from Takeda, Head of Enterprise Digital. I'm actually going to start by sharing a bit of a video that gives you a bit of a background on what we're doing at Takeda in terms of our data and digital aspiration. And then I'll take you through a brief presentation, and hopefully we'll leave some time to take some questions towards the end. Right, so I'm going to share a video clip first. Let's see if this works for you. Let me see. Bear with me. Nope. Bear with me. I'm going to just, sorry, it worked 3 minutes ago. So we're going to try this again. Here we go. Okay, let's see.
The world has changed, and as disruptive forces alter the face of healthcare, Takeda has a new and essential role to play. We are creating a future-ready organization, one that evolves at the speed of science and technology, using data and digital to meet the needs of patients, our people, and the planet. And by investing now in our cloud-driven business transformation, we're turning words into actions alongside strategic partners like Accenture and Amazon Web Services. Because the future of Takeda starts in the cloud. Our cloud transformation will fuel Takeda's next chapter as a modern global biopharmaceutical, a business that's data-driven, cross-functional, and digital-first to lead with innovation at the highest level. But it's not just about getting to the cloud. It's also about what you do when you get there. Because these aren't just lofty ambitions, it's what drives our internal innovation engine that allows us to realize agility at speed. This newly realized cloud and data platform-enabled agility is reflected in new ways of working, too. By creating cross-function business and technology teams, we're now pivoting quickly and addressing new business needs as they emerge in days rather than months. So when we say cloud isn't just thin air, we mean it.
The cloud technology is going to help us reduce our carbon footprint by migrating servers in the cloud. And then from a data and digital standpoint, we've now been able to capture historical data and more than 130 data sources across PDT. This is an industry that was born in World War II, and it fundamentally hasn't changed. Data and digital is allowing us to transform our business, and that helps us to achieve our ambition of reimagining the plasma industry.
There are moments in every organization's journey that require unprecedented speed. For Takeda, this is one of those moments. We believe that our people, not technology alone, will make the difference in Takeda's data and digital journey. Because a sustainable company that goes the distance is built by people with a shared commitment to a unified vision. And we've never been more committed.
Okay, so hopefully that gave you a bit of a backdrop into Takeda's digital ambition. So again, my name is Caroline Schmitt. I head up Enterprise Digital at Takeda. And today I want to talk to you a little bit about a very special program that we have around the AI Companion, which is around building a digital assistant for every employee in our organization. But before I go there, I wanted to give you a bit of an overview of who Takeda is. Maybe not everybody has heard of our company in the past. We are a global biopharmaceutical company with our headquarters. Our global headquarters are in Tokyo, Japan. We have a very large global hub also in the Boston area in the United States. We're a top employer in 38 countries and across all 4 regions where we operate. We exist and we operate in 80 countries. We have a very large investment in research and development. We have 3 major research sites and 31 manufacturing sites. Right? You can see our global revenue is just shy of $30 billion US dollars, and we employ approximately 47,000 people around the world, quite distributed across Europe, Canada, and the US, with, of course, Japan, with our footprint in Japan. What we actually do, we create medicines for patients in multiple areas. We have a big portfolio in gastroenterology, so also known as GI. In rare diseases, very important. We do a lot of research in rare disease and have a strong portfolio there. Plasma-derived therapy, you heard from Julie Kim in the video. We have an oncology portfolio, and finally, neuroscience, right? So those 5 key business areas, or those 5 areas, make up about 80% of our revenue. And across those, we have 14 global brands, so really products that are commercialized around the world. So before we go into the AI Companion, it's really important that you understand that at Takeda, we have a really clear vision at the highest level of our organization. We have a corporate philosophy and a vision, which is to create better health for people and a brighter future for the world. And we have 4 major imperatives to help address that. The first one is around patients. Really doing everything we can for patients, bringing innovative therapies to those patients. The second one is around people, our people, being a great workplace, providing the best employee experiences, making sure that we are looking after our people and their career progression. The third one is around the planet. Again, you heard Julie Kim talk about our carbon footprint and operating this organization in a sustainable way for our planet. And those three are all underlined and supported by our fourth imperative, which is to unleash the power of data and digital. Now, to support this vision and this imperative for Takeda, which is driven across the entire organization at a corporate level, we have a very cohesive and comprehensive strategy. We've been working together in partnership with Accenture and AWS, what we refer to as the power of three. We have a 5-year strategic partnership, and together we have this strategy to address and modernize our technology, infrastructure, and our core platforms. On top of that, to really work through our data and have data as a core digital platform enabler. Once that data is well structured, we can then start to look at the innovation. That innovation is so that we can drive better patient outcomes. And to support all this, we really are looking at the workforce and the workplace of the future, and we try to be very active in the ecosystem, whether it's the technology ecosystem, the healthcare ecosystem, but to really work in high partnership and collaboration with the key players around us. These two areas are really so that we continue to deliver on supporting brands and pipeline brands, so future products that are in our R&D pipeline. We want to really enable the workplace and the workforce of the future, and finally enhance the profitability and efficiency of the company. Now, we have to our project that and the topic of today. So at Takeda, we really have this vision of developing an AI companion for every single employee. And our own CEO has been carrying this vision for a while now. He speaks about it quite frequently, both internally and externally. But as you can see, the way our CEO positions it is to say that you know, in a few years, every single employee at Takeda will have an AI or a digital companion to help us accomplish our jobs, right? It's really making sure that everyone will benefit from this transformation. So what we are envisioning and what we are working on is a future where we have multiple AI companions to help our employees in their day-to-day lives and ensure that they are focusing their time on value-adding tasks, and that they're free to innovate, and that we're also freeing up capacity and time for our employees. We do this by ensuring that everything is around the employee experience, right? We really want to ensure that our talent is equipped to work with agility, collaborate in cross-functional teams. We want to do this for productivity, where people can focus on delivering that higher value work, where the data needed for innovators is available on demand and brought through these this AI companion. And we also want something that's very scalable. So it's flexible, scalable, and modern applications that we have in the cloud, to just name a few. So what is it we're really doing? So for us, an intelligent companion, it's really about having a companion. We're calling it Buddy for now, but that's really not the end goal or the end name. But here are a couple of examples of how we want to enable Takeda and our employees. For example, in research and development, how do we have a companion that can help us figure out if there are materials enough in the lab? How can we have a buddy or a companion that helps us with our IT support and tickets if I need a new laptop, if I need a new software installed, rather than going through ticketing and asking through the typical ServiceNow. How do I have a companion that just takes care of these things for me? There's applications in manufacturing, there's applications in sales and marketing. So what we've done is we have created, we're working off these 3 archetypes, these 3 user types that we have. We have a knowledge worker, we have lab scientists, and then we have field sales reps, so people who are really out in the field working with doctors, hospitals, patients. And so they all have different needs, right? So they want to maybe get new software, or they may want to connect with someone, or they might want to just schedule some days off from time to time. And what are the channels that they might want to use? Some might want to use their mobile, their tablet, their laptop. Maybe they have smart devices. And there's lots and lots of systems, platforms, and applications that exist in our company, like many other companies, right? We have SAP, we have Workday, and we have ServiceNow, to just name a few. And they want to be, and today we have to interact with all these different systems so that we can complete tasks, and it takes time. So what we're envisioning to do is to say, well, we're bringing in some more novel technologies that we want to bundle together and create very seamless experiences for our employees. So we want to create these AI assistants or companion that create simple, streamlined experiences where we don't need to think about applications. We don't have to remember where do I need to go to perform what task, and it just goes much faster. There's a high level of automation in the background. There's a high level of machine translation, natural language processing, machine learning that helps learn and understand our behaviors so that our lives as employees in this company is greatly simplified. So how are we doing this? We really are driving this from a user-centered design approach. We're really putting human center right at the center, and we're designing these AI-driven experiences that focus first and foremost on what is the highest value for the employee, focusing on the right problem, what's the right solution, and doing it right. And in doing it right, what we've been doing is we're really working with everyone and for everyone in Takeda. We have engaged thousands of people in our organization. It takes a village to get here. And so we have strong product owners in the business who are leading very specific use cases. And we're crowdsourcing the ideas from employees. We have many submissions, people who are saying, I would love to be able to book a holiday, or I would love to be able to plan a day in the office as we're going into these hybrid working models. How can I plan effectively when I'll be in the office, letting my colleagues know that I will be there, making sure that I'm not spending my time on virtual calls when I'm physically in the office, and taking the opportunity to meet people. So we have all these ideas that are coming through. How do I raise a PO? How can I reconcile invoices? All of these different scenarios that are coming through from employees across the organization. And so to deliver on this, the way we're set up is we have teams that are helping drive in design thinking workshops, journey maps, and quick product prototyping, working very close to those business teams and the employees across the organization. So the innovation, I believe, many of us believe, the innovation always begins in the edges. People innovate when they have immediate problems to solve. So we're not trying to innovate centrally. We're really letting employees and people around our organization come up with the ideas and think about how might we do it differently. And then once we have those innovation ideas that have been a little bit better defined, those will then be designed and delivered in our Innovation Capability Center that we are standing up and building right now in Bratislava, where we really are working in agile Scrum, or even SAFe, so scaled agile formation. We have we're building up multiple product delivery teams that will then work on these different use cases that will be multiple products, working with the product owners out in the business and delivering on these AI companions. And then as some of these capabilities become more commoditized, they will then be shifted off to the more offshore type of resources. But truly building up this innovation capability center so that we can accelerate how we deliver the AI companion at Takeda. So just to wrap us up and then hopefully move on to some questions. So key success factors that we believe we have to pull off this AI companion program at Takeda globally for all our employees. First of all, we really are an R&D driven company. So we're in the top 10 biopharmaceutical companies. We always put patient first, and that's what drives us. We want to make sure that we are focusing on patients and therapies and innovative medicines and freeing up capacity to do that as effectively as possible. And that's a great driver for trying to help us bring this AI companion program to life. We have a clear executive vision. Our CEO himself is articulating this vision. We have a mandate for data and digital to be at the core of everything we do in this organization. We have I'm going to call it a hyper acceleration in our data and digital ambitions. We are moving rapidly to a culture of agility. We have the entire organization that's learning how to embrace change, embrace ambiguity, learn how to move towards a product-centric and human-centered design type of work. And finally, we are in the process of really insourcing and bringing in-house a talented technical team to make sure that we can deliver sustained innovation. So we are opening our first innovation capability center. We've selected Bratislava for this first innovation hub. We're creating 300 data and digital jobs, and really in that center is where we're going to embrace and start to design phenomenal digital products, AI companions, using some of the most cutting edge and best technology that we've been assembling. We have fabulous partnerships with companies like UiPath for the automation, Abby for OCR, IPsoft Amelia for conversational. We use Linguamatics for our NLP, and so on and so forth. So these are very API driven with MuleSoft, and of course leveraging some of our best partnership opportunities with AWS. We've mentioned AWS Glue here, but much more than that. So with that, we have the AI companion. There are many paths to impact patients' lives. Find yours if anyone is interested in joining us in our mission for the AI companion. Then you're more than welcome to join our team as well. Right, so I'll stop there, stop sharing, and see if there are any questions.
All right, thank you very much, Caroline. With the AI world opening up, doing great stuff, cutting edge. It's what I remember. So if you have a question for Caroline, you know the drill by now. Put it in the chat, and I'll check it for me. Let's see. Martin is asking: could you go a bit deeper in the product that you're actually building? Like, could you elaborate a bit more on? You're saying with the assistants, go a bit further on what you're building right now.
Yeah, so we have a couple of things that we're building. So let me see if I can try to articulate that better. So we have taken, for an AI companion, it starts with a lot of automation. So we started probably 24 months ago. We started to heavily invest in our automation journey together with UiPath, which is another key partner for Takeda. And so the way I usually describe it is, we first need to automate as many tasks and processes that we can think of. And I think we have close to 400 bots today that have been built. Now what we're doing is going to the next layer. How do you create a layer on top of those pure automations to make them more intelligent? So how do some of those automations with some machine learning learn to actually become self-sufficiently better? How do we start to understand language? How do we start to have conversational AI? So we started with this baseline of automations, and we're adding layers of technology to make that baseline far more intelligent and become more of an interactive experience for our employees. Now we're going to start a bit more, we're going to start small and practical. Today, one of the first use cases is simply to meet the employees where they spend a lot of time. At Takeda, we use Office 365 suite. All the employees are enabled. We all use Teams chat. So rather than going off on Workday for some of the HR things and going into Ariba or SAP, we're just going to use the chat and converse with a companion to just say, what is it I'm trying to execute, and have then bots execute it for you in the background. And then stepwise, we'll go more to the conversational, we'll make it more and more intelligent and more interactive as we go. We don't just switch on one mega companion that does everything. We're really trying to automate our way forward, add layers of technology. Some technology is more mature than others already today, but we're always keeping our eye on what are the next big capabilities that are maturing in the market so that we can layer them into our AI companion. Hopefully that answers the question.
All right, so if I understand it correctly, if I want to send out, simple example, all my invoices, I can just go into my platform that I'm using. You have the bot and I say, send out all invoices, and the computer says, you have no clients, so I cannot send out any invoices. But if you did, that's a bit the idea, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So for example, I want to say, I want to engage a new supplier. I want to start working with a new agency, right? So, okay, you're going to create a new supplier. You want to create a new PO. All of that there's lots of processes that have been automated in the background so that you're only interacting with one simple interface and executing your end-to-end process through one interface and one screen, rather than multiple interfaces, multiple applications. That is often how you would do it today. I'll give a very concrete example. We've created one companion, which is when I go on vacation, I actually use it quite frequently when I try to go on a few days off. So what I'll do is, what do we typically do when we want to take some time off? We need to log some time off. We need to inform our manager. We need to inform our teams if we are a manager ourselves. We need to usually clear our calendar. We need to put an out of office reply. There's probably a lot of activities. We need to create delegates for approvals, etc. We've now created an assistant where I just put in the dates that I'm out and everything else gets executed. It clears my calendar, it makes my out of office, it tells my team, it tells my manager, it logs it. It tells the delegates who's going to have signing authority whilst I'm out, and so on and so forth. So it makes it much faster and takes care of everything for us.
That's really cool. So if I say, hi Alexa, hi Google, instead of just set my timer or my alarm, I set my alarm or my timer or calendar, and immediately it makes the link like, I'm going to clear everything. I'm going to call mom, say that I'm out in Barcelona somewhere, and does that all. That would be amazing.
So that's what we're tracking towards. Yeah.
That would be cool. And what you're also saying is that instead of building one super bot and saying like, we're going to create this, like in the movies, we're going to take it one step at a time and build these layers up.
Yeah, and I think we don't create one super bot because there are so many processes and so many tasks. And the way I often refer to it is, if you imagine, for some of us that are maybe a bit older, if you remember these old electric boards in a house, right? You would have the fuses. Yeah. And if one fuse would break or was too old, you would take the fuse out and replace that one fuse. And so the way we look at it is multiple bots, multiple technologies. If there is a better technology or a more cutting edge technology, switch the technology. If there's a bot or a task that no longer exists, decommission that bot. But you're not breaking the whole thing. So you build up layers, it's very dynamic, and you bring all the pieces together for like the optimal experience. But all of that is seamless for the employee. Just very simple user experience, user interface, the same way that you would talk to Siri or talk to Google or talk to Alexa. You know that in the background there's so many things that are happening. So we're now building what I call the brains of the companion, and slowly but surely start to create those interfaces for the employees.
All right. And what is the touched upon it a bit in your presentation, but what is the most difficult part of the challenging part of coming up with all that? Is it building the brain, or is it mapping out what all the employees need, or what is the biggest thing that will make this go from we're at the starting point to we're automating everything through this campaign?
That's a great question. I mean, it's a huge program, right? We've got thousands and thousands of employees. We've got thousands of use cases possible. So very programmatic approach, but we've got a great team that are super at structuring this, this kind of work. But no, I think that the biggest challenge is actually human behavior. And it's not because the tech is there or the experience is there that we'll use it, right? Like, even I'm to blame. I have Alexa at home, and I'm still very basic, right? I'm probably only using a fraction of how I could be using it. So I think the biggest challenge is going to be getting the employees to really use these companions and to have it top of mind. And that's where it makes it even more important that the way it's designed is thinking about how we usually behave and help people incrementally learn to use more of a companion to execute their daily tasks, because it's not because it's available that we'll automatically do it. People will automatically go and do, oh, I'll switch on my out of office reply in Outlook, or I need to clear my calendar and delete, right? But if they just get into the behavior and the mindset that rather than doing that, give my dates to the companion and have the companion execute it in the background for me. If there's anything that it needs to check, it will check, and I'll say, yeah, you can do that. And that's okay. And that might save you 10 minutes. But if you're saving 10 minutes for 48,000 employees, let's say they go on a few days off three times a year, that's a lot of time that we're saving and that we're dedicating, freeing up that capacity for people to do other stuff.
Okay, and that links perfectly to the last question from Gabriela, because you're saying there's so many employees out there, and we have to see what we're doing. What you explain now, that's a challenge. And Gabriela is asking, like, how are the first reviews from employees? Are they using the automation, or is it still hesitant? Like you said, I only use a small part of my assistant. So what was the first feedback?
So I think we're getting pretty good feedback. I mean, as I've mentioned, we started with the pure automation journey. We've actually taken the citizen developer route. So we have a couple of hundred citizen developers in our organization. We've been training, I think, close to 1,500 people around the world, around the entire value chain, to learn how to build their own automations on UiPath. Task automations, process automations. So we've also started with that. We've created a bit of a movement, which helps with the uptake. And then, you know, we're tracking to freeing up time capacity this year. We're hoping to free up close to 500,000 hours of time for our employees. And I think the fact that we may be doing that shows that people are actually using or embracing some of these automations. But we still have a long way to go. There's still a lot of things to crack. And that's why from the very beginning, we decided to kind of crowdsource the ideas, but also crowd build, if that's a term, the actual companion experiences. We want the employees to be hands-on, helping us design what those experiences are going to be like, because it has to be relevant and they have to be able to use it. So really strong collaboration with those who are bringing the innovative ideas and the team of developers that we're starting to build, and we're hoping to attract lots of talent to help us on this journey as well.
Okay, you heard her. If you're attracted and if you're talent, if you have the talent, you can. That came out wrong. You can go there and help build the bot of the future. And it's also a great business pitch, because you can just walk in and people say, "What do you do?" Well, we're gonna save your employees 5,000 hours of time. Bomb. Where's my money? That's how it goes. We're all out of time. Vladimir just popped into the backstage. Just Caroline.
Super.
Thank you so much for sharing this with you. Good luck with the journey on creating. And once a robot takes over our whole house, I say, I know the lady who built it. So enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much.
Bye, everyone.
All right, so that was AI, and now we're already at the last speaker of the second day, but luckily we have a third day where we're going to dive into digital.